Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1973 Winter Baseball Classic. We're continuing in the fourth round of the tournament. And today we got a matchup between Charleston, South Carolina, and Mississippi. Let's take a look at the bracket. A very tightly contested bracket this year. Between the top 8 seeds, they're all just about a couple games apart from each other. Memphis, the number 4 seed, is already advanced, beating the number 5 seed 3-2. We're doing this one today. Number 6, Mississippi. Number 3, South Carolina. We are in a game 4. Mississippi got a road win to take home field, converted home field in game 3. So game 4, Mississippi, they can advance, joining Memphis, meaning that 2 of the final 4 teams are come from the same original bracket, the Gulf Mississippi River bracket. And South Carolina has to win this one and come back home and win a game 5. Today's pitching matchup for South Carolina, it's going to be Jim Cott. Really intriguing pitcher in this timeline, sought after by 3 different teams, the White Sox, the Twins, and the Phillies. 73 was a White Sox, 15-13 with a 4.37 ERA. Not a particularly good card for the White Sox, though he does win 20 games in 75. And for Mississippi, another interesting guy, Claude Osteen, who's getting up there in years, but he actually finished his career with 2 pretty good seasons in 73 and in 74, and then he's gone before 75. It's weird to see a guy retire pitching on 3 days rest. I don't know if an injury forced him in retirement in the offseason. That may have happened. He is now property of the Yankees, who they got from the Dodgers in a 3-way deal that ultimately sent Mike Marshall to the Dodgers. Jim Cott, Claude Osteen, battle of lefties from Mississippi. Boogie Chillum, Johnny Hooker in the background. Let's get started. Roy White leads off. 57 is a single. Batting second, Bobby Heiss will hit and run. The hit and run is a 7. He's got a steal, and when he does, he is out stealing on a 19. Not a good start for a team that's down a game in a series. So Bobby will swing away now. 56 pops short. With 2 outs, Greg Nettles. 38, single one to 17. He lines out on a 20. Bottom of the first. It'll be Gorman Thomas, 65, center. Tim Foley, 69, center. And Wayne Garrett, 1-7, is a walk. And Frank Howard, 2-3 grounds to short. If there is a game 5, it'll be a fascinating pitching matchup. It'll be Catfish Hunter versus Nolan Ryan in the game 5, if there is one. So 2 Hall of Famers going at it. And 2 very important keepers for California and Oakland. Top of 2. Mike Adams, 2 9s a walk. He's walked a ton this series. Very high on base percentage. We'll see his card if the team loses. Bob Coluccio, 49, single one to 19, he gets it. 2 on for Philippe Alou, 1-7 is a fly ball left. Andy Etchebarren, 2-6, pops to second base. And Milner, John Milner, 1-6, rolls to first. We'll show the 20 cards of the team that loses the series. And, of course, they'll be categorized in the 4 different scenarios so we understand how that impacts the draft for the carryover league, 73-76 carryover league, which is why we play this tournament. Ken McMullen, 66, flies to right. Duke Sims, 110, flies to right. Duffy Dyer pops to third. Nice start for Cott. Kitty Cott. Gene Michael, 36, is a base hit. Osteen's allowed the leadoff man to go on every inning. Roy White, 39, there's a walk. Bobby Heiss, he'll swing away this time. Hit and run didn't work in the first, but he pops out. Greg Nettles, 2-8 is a K. And Mike Adams, 3-10 on a hit by the pitch. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Big moment for Bob Coluccio, a free agent, trying to see if he can make some news for himself. 2-8 is a strikeout. No, he doesn't help himself out there at all. Trying to get himself seen. Noted. That's the point of a lot of these fringe extra players you're not familiar with. Make some noise in spring training, and you might find a job in the summer league. All right, Mickey Stanley pops to short. Bill Stein flies to center. Gorman Thomas, 55, single 111, gets it. First hit off Cott. Tim Foley, 212, walks, 2 on 2 outs for Wayne Garrett. It's lefty's fine. Base hit left field. Thomas has got wheels, always had wheels. 15, he'll run against the Roy White Armand score. Foley ends up at third, and it's Frank Howard, 67, pops to first. 1-0. Felipe Alou, 211, pops to second base. Andy Etchebarren, 38, grounds to third. And John Milner, 58, is a K. Actually, 58's popped to short. Bottom of the fourth. 1-0 for the home team. Ken McMullen. 1-8 pops out. Duke Sims, 6'10", second X. 3E12 Bobby Heiss makes the play. Duffy Dyer, 35, grounds to short. Oh. The two veteran lefties doing a nice job today. 1-0 game in the fifth. Stick Michael. Base hit. Sticks 2 for 2. Fellow Yankee Roy White, 1-6, center. Bobby Heiss, 59, pops to third. Another Yankee, Greg Nettles, 1-7's a K. 3 Yankee players in that South Carolina lineup. I guess you could call it Fort Lauderdale North, maybe. Bottom of the fifth, Mickey Stanley, 37, flies to center. Bill Stein, 1-8 Ks. Gorman Thomas, 1-6, another strikeout. We go to the sixth. Briskly moving game. Love to see that in spring training. 55, pops to first. Coluccio, 2-4. He hits his column finally. Triple 1 of 15. A 3-base hit. Shame he didn't do it with the bases loaded. But it gets eyes on the card. And frankly, Coluccio, outstanding defensive outfielder. He can steal bases. He can run the bases. His question's the bat. Just a 224 hitter. They'll bring the infield up with 1 out for Felipe Alou. 63. First C. Would have scored the run if the infield was back. So the managerial move worked that time. Etchebarren with 2 outs. Lomax. Claude Osteen. 6 shutout innings. By the way, Mike Caldwell, the number 4 starter, threw a shutout in game 2 for Mississippi. So South Carolina's had their problems with left-handed pitching. They haven't scored in 17 innings. 15 innings. Bottom of the sixth, Tim Foley, 48. It's a base hit. C. Steeler. Etchebarren's got a -2 arm. Wayne Garrett, 512. Center X. Here's our boy Coluccio, a 3E3. Fly ball A. Runner moves up. Yeah, we're going to mention all the guys we've not seen before. We're going to try and give extra emphasis to them. I mean, the traditional players that you're all familiar with, most of the time their cards don't matter because we have a different card in use in our carryover league, like the 74-75 card. Frank Howard grounds the third. And with 2 outs, Ken McMullen, 3-6, Ken McMullen, that is gone. And Ken McMullen's card is up. I think he's on the waiver list. And in 73, he's got a power card. For a guy who really wasn't known as a power-hitting third baseman, he really had 5 home runs and 85 at-bats, probably as a pinch hitter. 3-0 home team. Mississippi trying to pull the first mild upset in this round of the tournament. Duke Sims, 54, third X. Nettles, a 326 at third base, and he kicks a ground ball. Don't like the Nettles defense at all. Don't know why he's a 3. He'll be a 1, I believe, in 76. Maybe a 2. Duffy Dyer, 66, flies to right. Well, Jim Cott, a couple mistakes in this game. It's 3-0. We go to the 7th. Claude Osteen is cruising along. It's his breaking inning. Can we help Claude with a little bit of defense? You know what? And the answer is they're trying to win the series, so we're going to put Jim Howarth in the outfield as a 2. And we'll put him into Duke Sims' spot. And that's that. Okay. All right. Top of the 7th, John Milner. See here. 1-7 is a K. Stick Michael 1-7, another K. Top of the lineup, Roy White. 56, a pop to short. Have yourself a day, Claude Osteen. Making the Dodgers look a little foolish here. They let him go. They had to get out of Osteen. Too many lefties. They have Tommy John, and they had him, and they had Forrester. They picked up another lefty. They let Claude go because of his age. 3-0 game, bottom of the 7, stretch time here. We have been listening to Mr. John Lee Hooker, 72 collection, Boogie Chillin'. Hard to believe a lot of this is considered live. These people must be just frantic, quiet as can be. I can barely hear any noise in the background, but these are all live recordings from San Francisco in 1962, believe it or not. But it's a great collection by John Lee Hooker. Back to the game. Jim Cott, I'm going to pull him, and one reason is I don't like this Cott card, and I believe if once he does get picked up in our league, whether it's by the Twins, White Sox, or Phillies, or somebody else, it'll be with a 20-win card of 75. So with that said, let's go look at some relievers, beginning with Tom Griffin. Tom Griffin was an Astro and a 4.14 ERA in 100 innings. Tom lasted a pretty long time. He pitched all the way into the early 1980s in the relief starter role. Hook him on in the 7th. And he'll face Mickey Stanley. 53, left X. Your left fielder is Roy White, a 3-7. Makes the grab. Phil Stein, 2-9 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Gorman Thomas. 45, short X. 329 for Stick Michaels, the base hit. Tim Foley, 1-9. Single 1-18 gets it. 2 on, 2 outs for Wayne Garrett. 1-6 the walk. The bases are loaded for Frank Howard. So batting for Frank Howard. Can't hit lefties at all. Can't hit righties at all anymore. Norm Cash will also take over at first base. And actually, that'll be the day. They got to get this guy out, or this tournament's over for South Carolina. So with the bases loaded, 2 outs, they're going to go to Don Gullett here in the 7th inning. Gullett got pushed into the bullpen because this team's rotation, it's kind of sad to see them on the verge of elimination because the rotation is Catfish Hunter, Steve Carlton, Joe Coleman, Jim Cott with Don Gullett in the bullpen. How do you not win the damn tournament? Well, I'll tell you why. Catfish Hunter, Steve Carlton, and Joe Coleman and Jim Cott, they all have pretty mediocre cards. They're Hall of Fame players, or some of them are, but with pretty mediocre cards in 73. So Don Gullett will face Norm Cash with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And Norm strikes out. So we still got a game. Cash is a good defensive player. We go to the 8th, 3-0. Claude Osteen, hey, he wants a CGSO like Mike Caldwell did. He'll continue. Bobby Heiss, 65. Brown is the 2nd. Greg Nettles, 3/10 hit by pitch. Mike Adams, 69. They found Osteen finally. Double on a 6 is a double. 2nd and 3rd for our boy Bob Coluccio. Had an interesting day. 2 for 3, but he struck out with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch to Coluccio. 2-9's a walk, and that breaks Osteen, who will have to leave the game with a shutout, but the bases are loaded. Now, what do you do here? Do you go... You may just go to Sparky Lyle to see if you can get the last 5 outs. Don Stanhouse just walks... You have the bases loaded. You never want to bring that guy in with the bases loaded. All he does is walk batters. You got righty lefty switch with some lefties on the bench. I'm just going to put this thing in the hands of Sparky Lyle. Sparky Lyle's 73 card with a 2.51 ERA. That card is up as well. So the Yankees have to decide which Sparky Lyle card they'll pick up moving forward. 73, 4, 5, or 6. I think 76. Is he not the Cy Young winner? Or is that 77? 8th inning for Sparky Lyle. Bases are loaded. Felipe Alou hits lefties better than righties, but Lyle's often better against righties than lefties. They're going to play back, hope for a double play. Here's the pitch to Felipe Alou. 47 off Sparky Lyle is single, 1-2. He lines out on a 7. And with 2 outs, it's Andy Etchebarren. 2-11 is a walk. A base loaded walk, we got a run. It's 3-1. Tying run at second. Lead run at first. John Milner. He can hit lefties rather well. But 35 is a ground ball to second. So Lyle ends the inning, giving up a run. Don Gullett continues. It'll be Ken McMullen. 1-8 pops to third. Jim Howarth, 67, is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Duffy Dyer. 6-11, pitcher X. Gullett is an E0. Have to roll it. I always roll the road E0s. Home E0 is GBA. It's one of those home field advantages I built into the game. All right. No more defense to bring in. Here it is. Here's the tournament to be wrapped up for these 2 squads, possibly. It's a 2-run lead, the 9th for the home team. Fans on their feet. And Sparky Lyle will be facing some teammates. Gene Michael, Roy White, and possibly Greg Nettles in the 9th. How fun is that? Here is Stick Michael, who's 2 for 3. 38's a ground ball to short. Back up top to Roy White. 38, single 1 to 18, gets it. B. Steeler. They'll let him go down to second base without a throw with a 2-run lead. And it's Bobby Heiss. 2-4 pops to second base, and with 2 outs, it's Greg Nettles. The 2-2 card is the home run. Here's the pitch to Greg Nettles. 67 is a strikeout, and Sparky Lyle one-ups his 3 teammates there with a 5-out save. And this could very well be the Sparky Lyle card that is selected by the Yankees. Mississippi, indeed, first mild upset as a number 6 seed topples a number 3 seed. 3 games to 1. Let's just go right into the box and look at the tournament bracket. We'll give Sparky Lyle a 5-out save. Did a nice job. Walked the batter. So I hit a walk and a K. Didn't get the shutout preserved. But Claude Osteen gets the win. 6 hits, that 1 run. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Tom Griffin loaded the bases in the 7th inning and got a 1 strikeout. 2 hits, a walk, and a K. Not a good outing for him. Don Gullett did get a couple strikeouts in inning and a third. Jim Cott takes the defeat. Only gave up 4 hits and 3 runs. Just some bad 2-run homer. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. 1019 0108 3617 3617 66353566. All right, we'll just take this right into the post game. See if we can plug some stuff into the tournament bracket as well. In a Game 4 victory for Mississippi. The red region of the in the bracket, as we'll see, the Gulfport, Gulf, Mexico, Mississippi River. New Orleans also in that bracket. So we'll look at the victorious Mississippi team. They're now 10-6, getting to 10 wins. 4 in this round is the goal. 10-6, hitting 276, 307 ERA. That's a pretty well-rounded team. Oddly enough, the bullpen has really blown some games. Even Sparky Lyle is 2-2 with 2 saves. That's a lot of decisions in 16 games. The rotation is 7-1. Ryan, Osteen, Carl Morton, Mike Caldwell. The bullpen's kind of blown the games. Or perhaps they would have had a bye in this tournament. Norm Cash is cruising. 5 home runs, 14 RBIs in 16 games. Good news for Tiger fans. And Duke Sims is 5 home runs, but he was put on waivers by Cleveland. Don't know if he's coming back. Some nifty stats there for the victorious and 10-6 Mississippi. Now we'll take a look at some stats for South Carolina. finishing 8-7. 261 with a 4.33 ERA. Catfish Hunter, we'll get to see that card and do an analysis at the post game. Not happy at all with that card at all. Carlton, 14 runs at 27 innings. Meh. Joe Coleman, 1-3. Don Gullo was great in relief. 10 scoreless innings. Of course, the Reds aren't going to use him as earlier. He'll be in the rotation. Mike Hegan hit 5 home runs, and power was the question mark for him. He just didn't have enough of it, but at least in spring training he has it. Nettles had 4 homers, and John Milner had 3. They finished just 8-7, and we'll look at the South Carolina. Also take a quick peek here. Normally you play between 118 and 128 games for the tournament. We're up to 102. And in this tournament, we're hitting 253 with a 3.72 ERA. The pitching's ahead of the hitting. 8-7, 10-6. Now let's take a look at the tournament schedules. Here we are. We'll put a 1-3 as South. We put the result of the home team in. They lost. So they actually are 8-7. And Mississippi, they're 10-6. So number 6, Mississippi advances. We'll put them right here for the moment. They'll most likely be on the road. They'll most likely be on the road as a number 6 seed. The next 2 matchups, by the way, could involve a tiebreaker. The number 8 seed Savannah against number 1 Missoula, winning 3 games or 2 isn't good enough. That makes a tie. Then you need a tie breaking. So the 8 they need to win 4 games. They can win 4-0 or 4-1. Same with Hollywood, a number 7 seed against a number 2 seed. They also, just winning a best of 5 with 3-2 is not good enough. They'll need a 4th win. So those will be the next 2 contests. So that's it for this. When at the end of the video, stay tuned. I'm going to look at the South Carolina cards. Thank you. All right, folks. So here is South Carolina's elimination video. First, looking at just quickly players who are already carrying on different cards. We don't need to evaluate them. Echeverrien's got a nice card in the future. I believe it's 75. So we don't need to evaluate that. Gene Michael turns to a nice utility player with, I think, 74 card. Roy White's got a nice card with on base in 74. I think we got 74 or 75 Gullet. Not sure which one, but you don't have to evaluate those 4 guys. They have a card in another time. All right, these guys, though, are being evaluated. Milner had a 72 card. Had a knack for hitting lefties and righties. First base corner outfielder with plenty of power and on base. This is okay. One of the 3 good years. 75, I think, is a bad year, but he's got the power, and he still has the walks. Next up is Greg Nettles. 326 defense. I don't like that. And actually, yeah, I don't like the fact that he's not a 1 or a 2 at third base, though the card is reasonable with the walks. I mean, that's a fine card. It would play in a league, 234 with 22 bombs, but Nettles leads the league in homers in 76, and that's a card that the Yankees will pick. Dave Rader, this is a decent card for him, but he's got a card where he hits almost 400 versus left-handed pitching and somewhere in this timeline. What's he, 248 here? 229, so we'll go to that before we go to this. All right, now the 3 pitchers here. This is rather fascinating here. You got Steve Carlton. He's 13-20 with a 3.90 ERA. You have to think you got something better than that happening moving forward. And if I had to pick one card and say, how do you make the biggest difference in your carryover league, is what the Oakland A's do with their number 1 starter, Catfish Hunter. I mean, if you go to this card and the A's or the A's don't win their division or don't, go to the World Series, you can blame that your ace isn't that great. He's 21-5 for a super uber talented Oakland team, but the ERA and the homers are way up there. And folks, this is just something I just do not want to play with at all. I can't imagine why Oakland would go for this. And he's even got an automatic 10 as well. So Catfish has got better years in 4, 5, and 6. It's always BPA, best player. So yeah, if I wanted to screw up the Oakland A's, I'd add this card. If I really wanted to do a fair evaluation, I'd give him the best Catfish Hunter card in the timeline. I don't think this is it. Definitely not it. Same with Cott. So the White Sox had him in 73. Actually, they traded for him, I believe, in 73. And eventually wins 20 games with them by 75. Again, this is not an okay card. It's just not good enough. Very unimpressed with all those keeper cards, frankly. How about waiver players? Philippe Alou, can he pick up a job as a corner outfielder versus lefties? He barely hangs on with a stick. He has power. He's hit and run ability. He's a 3 with a +1 arm. I don't know if this is even good enough. You really want a lot out of corner outfield. I don't know if that's enough juice. He's on waivers for a reason. Mike Hegan had a magnificent 1972 in a brief abbreviated period. Played in the World Series. Helped the A's, along with Catfish Hunter, who we just saw, win the World Series. Their cards are both up. Hegan was let go. So I don't know what Oakland's going to do at first base. Perhaps Jeton Tennis takes over there. And here he's okay. He's decent. He could be your everyday first baseman with all that power and great defense. But the batting average really drops from a 329 hitter to a 243 hitter. He is with the Yankees. I think I'll end up with the Brewers. So someone will pick him up as a platoon player, you'd think, because of his defense. Probably in a different year. Bobby Heiss, a good utility infielder, always seems to... These utility infielders shed no tears. They normally get put on waivers every year, then they get signed every year by a different team. Fred Stanley's, Bobby Heiss's, Mick Kelleher's, Mark Wagner's, guys like that. They have this way of constantly being in the league, though you never know which team they're going to be playing for one year to the next. 3 at 2 infield positions. 3 at first base, though. You probably don't need it there. Joe Coleman. This is one of the stunning waiver moves. Probably, you could argue, the best player to be placed on waivers as a starter 8. And he's a 23-game winner, but he's also a 15-game loser. 32 homers and 288 innings with a 3.53 ERA. Sure, this card is absolutely fine to get into the league. Detroit put him on waivers to make room for the Bird, Mark Fidrich, who arrives in 76. Speaking of that, Coleman, his starting will really fade. After 73, he goes into some bad years. Then he goes into the bullpen, has some nice years, and I think 76, 77. So that's what the Coleman card, well, Coleman's going to be. Someone's going to make a move and get this guy early in the draft. He might be the first waivered player to be picked. All right, now we're looking at some undrafted free agents, guys who have been in this box for, this is the 4th and final year, have not been selected in our Summer League draft for various reasons. Adams is a very good card for that stipulation. Look at the on base for this guy with the walks, and they gave him full-time power. This guy would be a fun DH, a guy who could be at the top of the lineup and get on base for your, get on the bases for you. 17 walks, 66 at-bats. This is a 212 batting average, but it's a 381 on base. I predict someone will take Mike Adams in the draft. He was a Twin. Here's Coluccio. Talked about him during the game. Great defense. You could even move him in the center as a 3-2. B, 15. Power both ways. Just the batting average is just a little on the low side here. 224. Don't know if that's enough juice. If he was a 4th outfielder, just a defensive replacement, pinch runner, that might get him in the league. Tom Ragland, a utility player. I don't recall him being in having multiple cards. This could be a one-hit wonder. And the stick, yeah, the defense, it's not a lot going on here. He can bunt, but 257 deceptive doesn't look that good. I guess you could say he's an infielder versus lefties with bad defense. That's being nice. Bill Champion. This is a reasonable card. It's a starter 5, relief 4. He's got a 370 ERA, 136 innings. Wish he was a starter 6. I'd make him a starter. As a reliever, he's okay. Just a guy, as we like to say. He could get in the league with a sub-4 earned run average. Tom Griffin, I don't know if he's got better cards in this timeline or not. This is a 4.14 ERA and 100 innings. He is a starter 6. Literally, Griffin and Champion might be competing for the same roster spot. Bucky Brandon, Darryl Brandon, Philadelphia. Yeah, he's a Philly. And with a 5.46 ERA for Bucky, as a relief too, probably not. There's not anything to hang your hat on here and say he does this well. Too many homers there, too many hits there. Brandon's not going to make the league. This was a very disappointing crop of players. That's what you get. That's why we do this evaluation. That's why we look at these cards, so we know, where not to go. I think the best player I saw in this list was Mike Adams. That's the only card the guy ever has, I think. Anyway, that's the elimination for South Carolina. I hope you like this analysis, and we'll see you next time.